Pat Mayo Hour.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Hour, UFC 204. Quick picks for DraftKings. We're coming off we're not coming off. Cody Saftik is coming off a hot week with that GPP roster. One away from the nuts lineup. But it worked out. I won a lot of money off of it. Unfortunately, I split it with like 23 people. But still, I played a lot of lineups. I played a lot of volume. And throughout the course of it, I ended up winning like over a G. So that was nice.
Yeah,
thank you.
I had people sending me a variety of messages. But, I mean, it seemed like people were ranging between like $130 made to as much as $4,000 made. So we like to hand out free picks, obviously, and hopefully they're good ones. But now the expectation is he's just going to throw a hot fire all the time. So
that doesn't happen.
Without further ado, let's get to some hot fire.
Okay,
right?
Before we get to the lineups, I guess I should let people know the DraftKings scoring is still changed.
Yes.
We went over that last week. If you go to the Fantasy Sports Network YouTube page, our breakdown of that is up there, what's changed and why that's significant to certain fighters, especially lower end ones and different styles of fighters. And we talk about this with GPPs all the time. We hit one big one in February. You just hit a big one now. You hope to tread water in between the big ones. Like really, most of your GPP lineups are going to lose.
That's why it's GPP.
Yeah.
The same thing with tying with 23 other people, right? I mean, if everyone's going to play this team, then if it does win, you're going to be drawn out with a couple other people. That being said, as we always talk about, playing multiple rosters and making a couple switches where you see fit is ultimately the best way to cash big.
Yeah, last week I actually switched out. I played that lineup, but I switched out Garbrandt for the guy that he was fighting on the other one. If the other guy had won and not Garbrandt, I would have been dancing. I would have been solo first. It would have been perfect.
Yeah, well, not Garbrandt, but I feel you, exactly. Whoever it ends up being. There's always a situation where it's like, okay, one of these people is likely to get completely knocked out. Marquardt, that's who you're probably talking about.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got Nate Marquardt and Tam Damir-Corey. And we talked about it on the show. Someone's getting knocked out. I think Marquardt's going to win here. But in that event that it's not him, good to play another lineup. So
yeah, just switch those two guys out. Take the other guy.
And this will actually be our last show for the next 3 weeks, Pat Mayo. No UFC cards. They were supposed to be in Manila, Philippines next weekend. That just got canceled, and then there was a 2-week gap. So that has now become a 3-week gap.
All right, I guess the other note before we start, the Rob Font fight is off.
Yes.
I noticed that because when you gave me your initial lineups, he was on both.
Both. I really liked Font this week, to be honest. And his opponent knew that Font had the upper hand. And Ian Entwistle was like, when I'm in home to my own backyard, I want to get smoked in front of my students. I'm going to call it a day. I don't know what he pulled out with that. That's obviously, inconsiderate of me to speculate. But all jokes aside, I like the fight for Font. Unfortunately, it's been canceled.
Cash game team, let's hear it.
Okay, cash game team. We're going to start with Michael Bisping, $9,100. Michael Bisping. He's going to be at home. He's the favorite for a reason. He's the defending champion. You just got to look at the fact that, he's 8 years younger than Dan Henderson. He's on a 4-fight winning streak currently right now. And when everyone looks at that story, it's just got the big storyline. UFC 100. Dan Henderson knocks Michael Bisping completely out.
Dan Henderson looks like he's got a case of the skinnies on the go.
You know what? I don't know.
Maybe it was a bad pitcher. I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but when he's walking around, like when the camera's following him, he looks like a decrepit old man who's broken. Like he's hunched and he's just really slow. And then all of a sudden that cage door locks and he's just like, I'm 46 years old, so this is what I've been doing with 35 years of my life. Like that second gear just turns on, and the guy's a winner. He's won at pretty much everything he's ever done. He's a former Olympian. I get he didn't win a gold medal or anything like that, but just achieving that level, this guy is game. Unfortunately, at 46 years old, how many football players are 46, Pat? How many baseball players are 46, Pat?
There might be a kicker who's 46.
There's a golfer, I'm sure, who's...
No, there's tons of golfers who are 46. Phil Mickelson is 46.
But it's low impact, and even then, Phil seems old. Could you imagine if Phil had to fight some guy in a cage?
Phil's in every arthritis medication commercial going.
And I would imagine this guy's probably got bad knees and a bad shoulder and a bad hip, and it's a lot of wear and tear. So I know Michael Bisping's not the youngest guy out there, but I feel like certainly at this spot, people also got to factor in the last time he beat him, 2009. That's 7 years ago. And that fight took place in Vegas, where Dan Henderson was the big favorite, and he was the American hero. Now they're fighting in the United Kingdom. Michael Bisping's 18-0 when fighting in the United Kingdom. He's the hero over there. So I just think the times have changed a little bit. I like Bisping for cash teams. I like him for GPP. I think his punch output takes the fight to the second or third round, but ultimately I think he's lands something. Dan Henderson still has a good chin, but the punch volume pad is going to put him down. So we're going to go with Michael Bisping. Then we're moving on, 8,800, Davey Grant. Davey Grant was actually a runner-up on The Ultimate Fighter. years ago, and then he just got a plethora of injuries that sidelined him. So he didn't take a UFC fight for nearly 2 years. He finally makes his comeback earlier this year, and he looks good, right? He's big, he's strong, he's one of the bigger 35ers you've ever going to see, and he's got a win by armbar on the Tough Show in the fight to get into the house, in which he submitted Danny Martinez. Danny Martinez got 8 career losses, has never been finished by anybody. Davy Grant is good on the ground. I think he's only a purple belt, but he's so big and strong that he can force these positions. On paper, his opponent, Damian Stasiak, might be a better BJJ, I think he's a brown belt to Davy Grant's purple belt. Unfortunately, size makes a massive difference here. I don't think that Damian Stasiak's going to be able to get the fight on the ground where he wants it on the ground, and I think that Davy Grant pushes through. I like it more for a cash game, although I played it on both, simply because now that a guy like Font's gone, I need to go for it. I think Davy Grant gets the finish. I'm not 100% sold that he gets the finish, so at $8,800, you got to be a little bit weary. Maybe you want to switch him up for somebody else. Aubin St. Preux, $8,400.
Aubin St. Preux?
Aubin St. Preux from Haitian, the Haitian American, former University of Tennessee lineman.
Okay.
Anyways, very athletic guy, very big, very strong, very promising.
Heavyweight?
Yeah, no, light heavyweight, although he's talked about fighting at heavyweight in the past. Like when he actually just came off a 5-round decision, lost to John Jones, and when he went 5 rounds with the champion, lost every round, lost almost every exchange, but gave a decent account of himself.
Didn't get knocked out.
Didn't get knocked out. His opponent, Jimmy Manuwa's got 2 losses in his career. They're both inside the UFC. He got knocked out both times. So, offense doesn't typically, everyone always says, he's not much of a finisher. But if you look at the way he wins fights, he a lot of the time is able to finish his opponent. And that's just because he's so big, he's so strong, he's so powerful. He can go 5 rounds. We've seen him go 5 rounds against Ryan Bader. We've seen him go against 5 rounds against John Jones. In a 3-round fight, he'll be able to pace himself out a little bit. And the thing with Jimmy Manuwa is when Jimmy Manuwa wins, he kills you. For the most part, other than his fight with Jan Blachowicz. He smokes you. When he's not able to smoke you and adversity starts to come his way, you can beat him. Aubin St. Preux taking him out, good luck, man. The guy's branded. Somebody branded him, Pat. If you're willing to take that kind of pain and sustain that, you're going to be fine. I really do like Aubin St. Preux. I think he's growing. I think at 34 years old, he's still 33 years old, actually. I think he's younger than Jimmy Manuwa. He's making those improvements. He's training probably at equally or a little bit of a higher level. I don't mind him. I do not like him on a GPP because, once again, can he finish? Yes. Will he finish? I don't know. And it will be a close fight as well. But I don't mind playing him out on the cash.
You get your boy Alcantara, who you take every time?
Yuri Alcantara, $8,300. Actually, if you listen to Bookie Beatdown, I don't mind Pickett. The thing here, though, is Pickett, you can put this guy away. Whether that be knocking him out, whether that be choking him out. And so he was supposed to fight Yuri Alcantara, Brad Pickett was, in Hamburg, Germany, a month ago, right? He pulls out of the fight because he's got a bad back. And he says that he's had a bad back for the past 5 years, and he's not able to go to the gym because his back is acting up. So he's like, I'm just going to go get it checked out. So then they tell him, you got a fractured spine, Brad Pickett. So he's like, oh, that's terrible. And he's 38 years old. Oh, that's terrible. Well, the UFC's coming to England. Hopefully I can jump on that card. So I get many indications that this might be his retirement fight. He's in against a perennial contender, but a guy that's probably still ranked in the lower echelons of the top 15. A guy that's fought some of the best guys in the division and has had relatively good amount of success. Now you got to take this guy on with that bad back. So can he get the win? It's possible. Can he get a judge's decision at home because it's just like, it's slimy Brad Pickett. Let's give it to him. Yes, he can. But that all being said, he's got a bad back, and he's taking on a credible BJJ black belt, who's also very good in his Muay Thai training as well. So it's going to be a tough one. I don't mind Alcantara as far as cash games go. Danny Roberts, $8,100. Love this guy in both. Cash game, GPP, don't mind it. He's coming off a bad performance against Dominique Steele, but Dominique Steele is gigantic, only 5'10", with the biggest 5'10" you've ever seen in your life. And you can pressure him. But when I look at Danny Roberts is very versatile. He's good standing, he's good on the ground. He's 2-0 in the UFC, sorry. His first win, he won by first round triangle choke. Back on the regional scene, he was knocking out guys like my boy Jim Wallhead. He's very good, and he's very versatile. I look at him in the spot with Mike Perry. Mike Perry, first of all, is racist. Second of all, people don't like this guy, right? He goes in, he's an idiot. He's just a banger. He's 8-0. He's knocked out all 8 of those opponents. There's no denying that he's tough. There's no denying that he's gritty. There's no denying that he has a lot of punching power. But at the end of the day, he's a very stupid human being, right? And he's going to make a mistake, and Danny Roberts will capitalize. Danny Roberts is English. He's fighting at home. Mike Perry's getting sent over here. Mike Perry's that guy that his opponent yelled out to his Korean, like his corner man yelled out to his Korean opponent, oh, you could beat this guy, he can't even open his eyes. So then he gets in a bunch of hot water. Then that same corner man, okay, gets arrested at a 7-Eleven in Winter Springs, Florida for beating his wife, right? And then Mike Perry defends this corner man by getting in a fight with UFC vet Sam Alvey and basically telling him, why don't you go blow dudes? You're gay. Like I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but I would probably say that he is probably can't read or write. And I think he's going to get knocked out or choked out here. Probably choked out, so let me roll with Daniel Roberts.
But you say he's never lost.
Well, he's 5-1 as an amateur.
Okay.
And as an amateur, he...
But does he have, like, if he wins this fight, does he win it by knockout?
More than likely. So...
Is there a pivot move here to...
If you want him on a GPP, which we're still talking about cash team, if you're going to play a guy in a GPP and you want to punt and he's very well priced, yes, you want him. But I just have such a personal vendetta about what a shitty person he is, and I really like Danny Roberts. Danny Roberts is much better on the ground. So at the end of the day, what you've got is you've got one guy trains out of the Black Zillions gym, okay? They've got world champion black belts training him. He's got world champion kickboxers training him. He's got world-class facility, world-class training partners, sparring partners, grappling partners, wrestlers. The wrestling coach over there is the man. He's got everything. You've got other guy is training out of a UFC gym in Winter Springs, Florida, where his top training partner is 3 weight classes bigger than him and a racist as well, right? So all I'm saying is, like, I know we like to make jokes, and all jokes aside, if you are a Mike Perry fan, you probably hate me right now, but... Hey, styles make fights, and this guy doesn't have much of a ground game. As well, 8-0, okay? Twice I've seen in his fights, he got knocked out. And then the bell sounds, and they, like, wake him up between rounds, and then zombie-ass Mike Perry pulls it out and gets the win, right? But he can get knocked out, and I think he gets finished here.
Last guy, Leon Edwards?
Yeah, Leon Edwards. Now, mostly I have...
Leon?
Yeah, I have no money left, right? So Leon Edwards is taking Albert Tumanov, and Albert Tumanov's a stud, right? He's a guy that normally knocks guys out, but Leon Edwards... If you can beat him, you got to grapple with him, right? If you want to stand with him, he doesn't usually get knocked out. He's got a good chin. He's got good punch defense, and he moves around a lot. Albert Tumanov will welcome the striking exchanges. I think this one goes 3 rounds. I'm not going to lie. I think Tumanov probably gets the win. But at that price point of $7,000, anybody else, I know you usually bring in the price points, anybody around that same level of him that you can afford, you don't want. Or at least I certainly didn't want. I think about it and I think, can Leon Edwards win this fight? Yeah. He can win this fight. He's got to dance around. He's got to use his striking, and he'll pick up points. If he loses this fight, his point basement should be a lot higher than the other people in that category.
So that's why you like him more than, like, Vitor on a cash game?
Vitor's got to be a GPP 100%, because if he wins, he's going to knock him out, and if he loses, he's going to get finished, right? Likely going to get finished. And Vitor doesn't actually throw any strikes. He sits there, he sits there, he sits there.
Yeah,
he sits there some more, and then he just explodes.
We don't want that in a cash
No,
game.
you don't want that. Leon Edwards is a lot more active, and as I mentioned, Leon Edwards, when he has troubles in the UFC, his guys pushing him against the cage. Tumanov doesn't want that. And Tumanov's coming off a loss as well, where he got choked out in the second round, and he got taken down. So you would think that he probably wants to keep this fight standing, and Leon Edwards wants to keep this fight standing. Leon Edwards could theoretically outpoint him, especially it being in England. If it's just a close fight, maybe he gets that nod. Tumanov is supremely talented. So... mostly what I'm thinking is Bisping's going to get the finish, Davey Grant should get the finish, OSP should put up just big points, Alcantara should put up big points, and Daniel Roberts should get the finish. So between 3 finishes and 2 big points, I need Leon Edwards to
get some points.
Get some points. Don't get finished. Stay the course. You know, and if he can get me 30, 40 points, I assuming everybody else does their job.
Fair enough.
On a cash game, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Sure. GPP team, the first GPP team you gave me was kind of similar to your cash team because it just had font at the top and everyone on the way down. But Bisping is on this, Davey Grant's on this, Danny Roberts on this. Tell me about 3 other guys.
Okay, Mark Diakase. Mark Diakase's $9,000. He's making his UFC debut here. He's another undefeated guy.
From where?
From England. So he's going to be the hometown guy. Now he trains out of like Aberton Submission Wrestling. And basically their gym is, they've got a lot of good strikers. All their guys are traditionally good strikers. Wrestling is their problem. And they're all really working on that. And I see a lot of improvements out of them. Then I see this kid, right? He's the Bama Lonsdale champion, which is, he's not the full champion, but he's basically that young up-and-comer that they want to grow. You win the Lonsdale belt, you fight the real champion. So he got signed after defending the Lonsdale belt, so he never got to fight the champion, but he's a guy that seems to be of that caliber.
Who's he taking on?
He's taking on Lukas Sajewski. Now, Lukas Sajewski is basically a 13-2 veteran Polish lightweight. Problem with Sajewski is that he's 13-2. He was 13-0 when he signed to the UFC, and then he's lost both of his UFC starts. One being a unanimous decision in Germany against Nick Hein, and one his last fight out. He got hit really hard, rocked, did the stanky leg, got taken down, and got choked out in the first round. So he's coming off a first-round loss, and that'd be nice if we could get the same thing out of Diakese. Now, Diakese, his last opponent was 7-0, and Diakese knocked him out in like 34 seconds. The guy before that was also 7-0. He knocked him out in like 40 seconds. The guy before that was...
This guy has finishing ability.
His last 2 fights have lasted below 40 seconds. His fight before that went to 3 rounds against Jack Magon. Jack Magon's a study. He really is. He's a very good fighter. And it showed that, one, his cardio's unlimited, and he'll just keep going. And if you tell him, he's one of those fighters, if you tell him, listen, man, it's 1-1 going into this third, you don't have to worry about him not going for it. He's going to go for it. He's only 24 years old, so he can last. You know, he's got the energy. His kick game's phenomenal. He'll go head kick, low kick, right hand. Like, that versatility for such a young fighter, that being able to mix up your offense like that, is going to help him a lot. Now, I think about Sajewski, and I think tough guy, durable, and certainly someone that could give a young kid like this a lot of problems. I didn't initially have Diakese, but with Font coming off at my $9,300, I need to replace him with someone. I don't really want Mousasi. Mirsad Bektic is far too expensive for my price point, so I end up with a guy like Diakese. But I'm not upset, because when I saw Lucas Sajewski's last fight, Pat, he fought a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, a guy that's not known for his punching power. This guy hit Sajewski, and both of his legs wobbled out. When I look at Diakese's got a lot more power. His right hand's phenomenal. If he just gauges it, he's going to knock this guy out. He should be able to knock this guy out. And in a GPP, that's what I'm going for. That's what I'm hunting for. I don't love him on a cash game because, one, he's expensive, and 2, if Sajewski's able to take him down for a prolonged period of time, it might get dicey. But on a GPP, I love a guy like this. As you mentioned, we got Davey Grant, should be able to get the finish. Danny Roberts, a guy that I'm very high on. Daniel Malanchuk. First of all, $7,700. This guy's a heavyweight, Pat. He's 250 pounds of Polish Muay Thai muscle, right? He can strike. His takedown defense has traditionally been pretty poor, but he's definitely working on it. And he's physically big, strong guy. Now, over his last 3 fights, I noticed he always gets real tired. Like, first round, he's okay. Second round, he's tired. Third round, he's a write-off. 3 fights ago, it's like, oh, wow. He knocks the guy out in 40 seconds into the first round. Didn't get tired. Knocked him out so fast. Then he goes against Yargis Danho, and this goes 3 rounds, and his cardio checks out. And Danho in the 3rd round takes a groin shot and basically tells the ref, I don't want to fight no more. So they're like, okay, they just go to the judges' scorecards, even though the round hadn't even ended, and they give it to Omalanchuk. Then he's a big favorite over this big, tough Russian guy who's like 50-8, right? And he avoids the takedowns. His cardio keeps up. He gets the win. He's on a 3-fight winning streak. People always underestimate this guy. And against Stefan Struve, 7 feet tall, has been knocked out 5 times in his career. When he gets knocked out, it's usually in the first round, and it's usually in empathetic fashion. Like, this guy's getting knocked out cold. And then I think about Daniel Malanchuk. I think to myself, okay, 7-foot Stefan Struve is not going to try to take him down. He's too big. He doesn't, like, his point of leverage to get down and get the legs is not going to be there. If he tires him up, Daniel Malanchuk gets tied up every single fight he's in. Somebody ties him up. If they stay at bay, he's going to land something. And for a GPP play, I don't mind it. $7,700, Daniel Malanchuk. He's one of the dogs on the card that has a chance, but he is rightfully so the dog. He lands that left hand, better get that right hand. He can put Stefan Struve down. Don't be surprised on it. $7,700, I'm willing to take that chance.
Then you're punting with Vitor.
I'm punting with Vitor.
Maybe you get a win.
Yeah, well, you still got $500 left on your team, so you actually can upgrade, but this is a GPP. And the guys that you can upgrade to, if they can win, they're going to win a decision. Vitor literally only has one path to victory, and that's knock this guy out. And it's funny because Mousasi's only got like one path to lose, which is just some crazy shit came out of left field and hit me. The guy's got a concrete chin. You can't knock him out.
Who?
Gegard Mousasi. A couple fights ago, he's so lackadaisical, man. He stands in front of all of his opponents. He stands there. Jab. It's effective, but he stands right in front of you. So a couple fights ago, Uriah Hall is sitting there on the back foot. Mousasi standing in front of him, real lazy like he always is. This guy throws a spinning back kick, right? Nails him in the face, and on the way down, flying knee, hits him, pounds him out, knocks him out. 2nd round, huge. Nobody saw it coming. Vitor can do that type of stuff, Pat. So do I think Mousasi wins? Probably. On a GPP, baby. $6,800. We are rolling out Vitor Belfort and hoping for the best. And it's possible. Don't get me wrong. It is possible.
And the $6,800 guy we had last week won. That was huge.
First round.
Yeah.
Brandon Moreno. That really saved it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it really did.
All 6 guys hit.
That was the difference.
All 6 guys hit, but one, he was like 20% owned or 8% owned, actually.
Yeah, he was one of the lowest guys. He was the cheapest guy on the card.
Cheapest guy on the card. Very, nobody owned him, and that allows you to afford the other guys. So I would have liked Shamil Abdurakhimov to maybe get the finish, but nonetheless, I'll accept the 60 points he got in a decision victory.
Cody Saftik. Check him out on the Bookie Beatdown every week. I guess not for the next 3 weeks.
Not for the next 3 weeks.
What are you guys doing?
Which is good for you in football. Well, if it was up to me, we'd be doing World Series of Fighting tonight. We'd be doing Bellator next week, but it's not up to me, so I think we'll just enjoy the vacation. Although, hit me up on Twitter if you want to talk about whatever MMA related.
Cool. You can do that at CJ Saftik on Twitter. Remember to follow the Bookie Beatdown at Bookie_Beatdown and subscribe to the Fight Network YouTube page. You can catch the entire show up there. It's over an hour long. It has actual viz of the guys fighting, so they can back up what they're talking about through visuals. Unlike here. I'm Pat Mayo. Good luck this week. See you next time.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot.
For the latest expert fantasy sports strategy and tips on YouTube, click subscribe. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and call your local cable TV provider to order Fantasy Sports Network, or watch us on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Xbox.